Ever since I can remember, I've been terrified of the color blue. Now, I'm not sure if it was born out of my fear of the ocean or if it had more to do with the grudge I held against the sky once I realized it was it torturing the waters below, forcing them into different shades of blue whenever it so chose. But I always knew the color just never felt quite right. Now, along with growing up with an irrational fear of colors, I also had a family that spread out across the medical field, canvassing 4 aunts, 3 cousins, an uncle, and a mother who has spent so long in graveyard labor and delivery shifts, you would swear, dusk and dawn over a little more than exhausted mothers in the faint lull of crying babies. Most nights, to keep her going, she gives chubby newborns nicknames like Doug or Mufasa, making her laugh only the way 3 a.m. could. But more often than not, she finds the most promise in quiet hospital hallways that she rarely gets to see. So in hindsight, you think with all that knowledge the gene pool would have held tight to future offspring ambitions. It was my second clinical. Not 10 minutes after realizing the similarities between the snapping of a tree branch and the feeling of a dislocated elbow nestled quietly beneath my palms that I now allowed my fingers locked atop a woman's chest, crushing every bone, she gave way to raising 3 kids who want nothing more than my hands to try and save her. Try and save her, I whisper. Some say the quickest route to a flashback is through sound. For me, that sound has always been my hands hitting flesh, forcing me to remind myself of my own demise via sound effects on repeat. I realize tear-stained ultimatums and softball-sized holes in the wall can reappear at any time. They'll sound exactly like 7 beers, 1:30 a.m. and the TV showing that one part in Southpaw that mimics you perfectly at 17. You know, the one where you spent 6 dark hours in a closet crying because they stole the only thing you knew for sure you loved. You will come to when the lead doctor is yelling for you to switch out, but you will continue to push on her chest. Someone please bless these ruins we have created inside of her by chasing fleeting airspace and aspirations that truly may have never belonged to us in the first place. I pull myself from her chest, sweat-stained knuckles and all. A nurse pulls me aside and says, "Kid, maybe you got too much heart for a job like this. This is a place that always takes more than gives back, and even if you're ready for it, it doesn't make it any easier." I stared quietly as 3 kids watched their mother slip further into nothing left. 3 minutes later, they called it. At Holy Family Hospital, when someone is dying, they call it a code blue. Today, my 7-year-old self is reminded exactly why blue is still the scariest color I know.